This bedroom went from this to this, and you won't believe how old the computer powering this setup is. But we'll get to that in a bit. Right now, this is what we're working with, and before you skin me in the comments, I know this room looks abandoned, and for the most part, yes, because I've been using it as a storage space. It just happened to have a bed inside it. So this is the challenge. Take this relatively small bedroom and turn it into a cozy and functional space with a desk setup without pretending money doesn't exist. Now, I've done a few setups on this channel, and every time I'm reminded of the same thing. The hard part is never the gear, it's always the design of the space. You can have the nicest desk, the cleanest monitor, the perfect keyboard, but if you can make it functional whilst nailing the aesthetic, it doesn't just cut it. I've got about 120 square feet to work with, so every centimeter matters. Before anything got a spot, I had to clear the entire bedroom. Clearing it out didn't take long, and the first change was on the bed. I grabbed some new bed linen from Temple & Webster because I knew the old blue bedding would have fought against the whole direction of the room. A few tucks later and the green color pop made a big difference. But the first real shift came from the curtains. These rust-colored ones from Temple & Webster are the same ones I've used in almost every room of the house, and it's intentional. I wanted this room to feel connected to the rest of the space. I know curtains don't seem like much in a room transformation video, but here's the thing. Leaving the windows as is would work, but aesthetically it won't fit the bill. And just like that, a few screw turns, a roll through the curtains, careful alignment, and the room finally had depth. Moving on to the desk section, like I mentioned at the start, this setup is powered by a computer that most people would have probably thrown years ago. Keep that in mind. As for the desk choice, I went with a 9am Home MacBook Pro in American Walnut with black legs, and it fits the design language I've been building across the house. Warm wood, black accents, and nothing that feels too stare. Now, just to be transparent, 9am Home sent this desk out for me to try out, but just like you guys, they're watching this for the first time. The build itself was painless. I'm sure you've watched enough of these to know the drill. Desktop face down, legs lined up, screws tightened, cables sorted. Once it was built, I dusted it off, stepped back, and pictured how amazing it would look once everything was complete. As for the build and design, the American Walnut does a lot of heavy lift. The grain, the darker streaks, the small imperfections, it feels like something someone actually took time on. There are three things I love about it. First, the contoured edge runs around the front and sides of the desktop, so your forearm lands softly instead of digging into a hard edge all day. It sounds like a non-factor, but you feel a difference when you come from a desk that has a sharp edge and switch to this one. Second, the dual Bosch motors. You'll feel it the second you try to raise it or lower it. Matter of fact, it's very smooth and stable. I even balanced a coin on the desk while it moved, and it stayed put the entire time. Third, it's rated for over 125 kilos, and it has a built-in collision system. So if it catches something on the way down, it stops. The weight thing got me excited because I tipped the scales north of 100 kilos. But when I sat on it, it lifted me like I was a piece of cake. That's the kind of assurance you want, because if you ever load up your desk with a batch of accessories or a super heavy monitor, you're not worried your desk would crumble. Add the 10-year warranty and you can sleep soundly every night. Next up was the monitor. For this setup, I went with the BenQ MA32 OUP, and I removed it from another setup and replaced it with the Samsung Odyssey Neo G9. If you're out in the market for a monitor that gives you that studio display experience without the studio display price, this BenQ monitor is the one. To ensure I had my valuable desk space, I paired it with the 9am monitor arm. That decision instantly freed up space and helped tidy up the cables, which matters a lot if you value aesthetics. Underneath the monitor is the 9am monitor riser. Now, I know it doesn't perfectly match the American Walnut top, but weirdly, the contrast works because it interrupts the pattern, which is good for visual interest. Besides that, it adds an additional spot to tuck smaller items underneath, and you'll see that in just a bit. At this point, the foundation was there, but a floating monitor with nothing driving it doesn't make any sense, but we'll get to that in just a bit. The dock I'll be using is the Ugreen River Dock Pro. A single cable drives the display at a crisp 4K 60Hz, which gives this little machine room to breathe. It's not gaming monitor crazy, but it's good enough for work, browsing, and consuming some content. On top of that, it also charges the laptop with up to 85 watts through USB-C, so there's no separate charger crawling across the desk. And as if that's not enough, you also get an additional gigabit Ethernet port, fast USB, SD, and TF card slots, and enough ports to make your laptop feel way more useful than it probably has any right to be. Heads up for Mac users though, if you're trying to write on two monitors, they'll mirror instead of extend. That said, for one clean display, it's flawless, and that's the whole point of this entire build. Not the most expensive stuff, just the right pieces working together. Speaking of pieces that work together, the keyboard and mouse are right up there. I went with the Logitech MX Keys combo that I had lying around, and it gets you the MX Keys keyboard, the MX Master 3S mouse, and a palm rest. When it comes to typing, it's quiet, stable, and, need I say, weirdly satisfying. The mouse might be the start. Near silent clicks, horizontal scroll wheel, and it shapes to your hand like it was molded for it. Then the wrist rest adds some extra cushioning. Now, even the best monitor can punish your eyes when you stare at it for hours on end. That's where a monitor light becomes a quiet hero. For this setup, I used my old BenQ screen bar Halo. It sits on top of the monitor and throws light straight down onto the desk. The wireless controller lets you adjust brightness and color temperature without reaching for the screen bar, which might sound small but super important when it comes to workflow friction. Speaking of which, a desk mat helps reduce a lot of visual friction on your desk. This wool felt one is from Amazon, and I had it lying around in one of my storage drawers. When it comes to functionality, besides protecting the walnut, it also adds texture and visual structure to the desk. Moving along, even though this monitor comes with speakers, it's nowhere near the quality of dedicated speakers. That's why I grabbed these Sanyon speakers from Amazon, not expecting much, but wait until you hear the sound in the Reveal. Now, up until this point, I had only one light, the monitor light, but I needed to change the atmosphere of the room. So I added this retro style bunker lamp from Amazon for a few good reasons. One, the visual interest it adds to the desk, and two, the extra warmth it adds to the space. From there, I repurposed this IKEA rattan stool as a bedside table and placed a salt lamp on it, and that's when the room crossed over from functional to somewhere you'd actually want to be. But it was far from finished. Next up was the chair, and I opted for the Alessio from IKEA. Don't kill me in the comments, I've probably butchered that pronunciation. Anyway, if you've watched setup videos or scoured Pinterest for inspiration, you've most likely bumped into it. It's everywhere for a reason. This rusty brown would be a spectacle in almost any setup, and that's why I have it here. As for comfort, it's genuinely comfortable. That said, it's not a Hammond Miller, but it's also not one of those dining chairs that you pretend is okay until your back starts asking questions. Anyway, moving on to storage and elevating the setup aesthetic, two floating shelves went up fast and they immediately gave the main wall some height. On the little space on the wall to the left, I also added two floating shelves from IKEA. From there, I added a pegboard with bins to put away the little knickknacks, and that sorted the storage side. The room was pretty much done, but visually it still felt a bit flat, so in came the Bauhaus print from Temu. They added color, shape, and a bit of personality without making the room feel too busy. From there, the plants came in, because every room needs at least one thing you could accidentally kill. Just kidding, you could always start with artificial plants. In my case, I hung two on the little space to the left of the desk, placed one on either side of the desk, then the cascading IKEA ones and two succulents on the floating shelves. Once it got a spot, I was done for the most part. Then remembered the IKEA vase and lamp I always wanted to give a facelift. After a few sprays of orange paint and some drying, they got their spots on the floating shelves. I then mounted this wall light above one set of the Bauhaus picture frames, then placed a corner lamp on the left side to round it up. Just like that, the room finally had a heartbeat. Except there was one thing left. Sorry, actually three. The computer, the speaker sound test, and the cost. But before that, let's start it off from the top. A messy bedroom with no aesthetic appeal to a visual spectacle you can also work in. Warm, clean, functional, and most importantly, realistic. Not a fantasy setup or sell a kidney and buy everything in matte black kind of setup. Now, the moment you've been waiting. This entire setup is being run by a 2017 MacBook Pro, nearly a decade old, and here's the honest truth. For browsing, emails, content planning, some admin work, it works perfectly fine. And to be honest, those are the use cases of the average consumer taken care of. Will I upgrade someday? Absolutely. Does this laptop sound like it's preparing to take off when I push it hard? Also yes. But the whole point of this build is that you don't need the newest thing to get a setup that is functional and you enjoy being in it. Sometimes all you need is the right foundation, a few smart upgrades, and a room that makes you want to sit down and use it. The same way I'll be using these speakers. You know what? I'll let you guys be the judge. Listen to this. Personally, I think they sound amazing, and the fact that they look like they cost more than they actually did definitely doesn't hurt. As for the total cost of this makeover, I spent 1,478 Australian dollars and 94 cents, and a huge chunk of that went to the Aletheol IKEA chair. Well, there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed and found this video helpful. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and click the notification bell to get notified whenever I post a new video. If you enjoyed this video, this garage gym transformation or study room makeover will be even more satisfying. Until then, people of the internet, I'm signing out. See you in either of these videos.